I call Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a great pleasure to rise to speak on this first reading of the New Zealand Business Number Bill. And before I actually talk a little bit about the substance of the bill, I'd like to commend the member who just sat down. I look forward to working with him and his colleagues opposite in the Commerce Select Committee, because I think we do actually work quite well together. Having said that, I commend the member for saying that he doesn't like an extra layer of bureaucracy, because, you know, I think the member came in 2011 and doesn't really remember the times when the previous Labour government was in actually power, and there were extreme layers of bureaucracy that this government has been spending a lot of time unravelling. So this New Zealand business number is part of the government's better public service agenda, and it aims to reduce the cost of businesses of dealing with government by 25% by 2017, sir. And I know that Dr. Clark, just before he actually sat down, that he actually wants this to benefit the hard-working community, people who actually works for their families and, you know, everyone. That's everyone, not just businesses. And he mentioned the fact that there are 1.1 million New Zealand business numbers already extended to the businesses, actually companies, and what this bill does is to extend it even further to those who are not necessarily companies, to those sole traders, who are those partners and those trusts who also needs to have this number in order for them to operate better and take benefit of what we're actually doing, sir. And all key government agencies that work regularly with businesses will be required to recognise and use the New Zealand business number by 2017. And I have to actually applaud that. The New Zealand business number is a 13-digit number, a single unique identifier in a New Zealand-specific numerical series provided by GS1, which is the Global Standards Organization. Each number uniquely identifies a business and may be used in interaction with the government and also with other businesses. The bill's purpose is to enable certain business entities to obtain or be allocated a New Zealand number. The New Zealand business number will make it easier, quicker, and less complicated for businesses to interact with the government. I guess it's sort of like when, you know, going back to the country of birth, my country of birth actually has a registration number for all citizens who are actually born. We are identified with a unique number for ourselves, as well as the birth date and the year that we're actually born. We are actually identified by a number. I suppose that's how the Social Security number works in the United States. And to actually make sure that your unique number is specifically for yourself, Mr. Speaker, and myself, we will have a different number, sir, and so that you and I will not be confused. And this is exactly the kind of idea where this New Zealand business number will actually have effect on businesses, so that businesses will not be, you know, confused, so that one business will not be confused with another, because they will have a unique number specific to their business. This has significance because New Zealand business number will make it easier for businesses to work and interact with the government as well. And businesses will no longer have to continuously update their data with a myriad of different government databases, as currently businesses have to use multiple numbers issued by different government agencies. I think when I was doing a company search when I was a journalist, every time I actually log on to try and find a company, I'm given a number. And, you know, every time I do it again, I'm given another number and another number. And it's a constant numbers game. So if I had one number identifying myself as a constant user of that website, and I'm identified as a specific person who is allowed to use and connect with the government agency, I think it will make life so much easier. And also, as a small business, I think, operating in New Zealand, often there are sole traders who have to do everything. Not only do they have to work the jobs, but they also have to invoice, they also have to do marketing, they also have to drive as well. And often time is of the essence, and time spent dealing with office work, dealing with administration means time that is not spent on making the dollars for their families and their business. And anything that we can actually do to reduce the number that is spent on administration is something that is great, I think. Even as a working mother, you know, even when we're doing internet banking or mobile banking, when you have an app that can actually identify your payees immediately, so you don't have to punch in the numbers all the time or constantly, it reduces the time that I spend on the internet doing these things. So for a business who's actually spending a lot of time on admin, if we can at least do something to reduce the time that they're spending on admin is, I think, something that is wonderful. And I say specifically for the ethnic communities, ethnic migrant communities who actually do business, admin is an added burden because of the language barriers often. And this time spent on admin is extra on top of the language issues that they already face. So if we can make life easier for them, I think it's a wonderful thing. So the bill sets up a New Zealand business number register where business information will be held, and it will also be publicly viewable and searchable. However, it is also designed to protect the security and confidentiality of information under this Act and the privacy of individuals and business. And I think that is paramount. And I agree with the member, David Clark. Sorry, Paul Clark. Sorry, apologies. Dr. Clark, who actually talked about the security issue. And I think we all worry about the security issue. I look slightly different to him, I think. I think the security issue is a very important one, and nobody wants, you know, a breach and identity theft. I mean, we've had issues even before this business number, you know, we've had in the past where people's identity have been stolen, and I think it will continue to happen, and we try and put in security, you know, issues, protection there to actually prevent people from stealing other people's identity. But when somebody purposely goes out to steal somebody else's identity with the purpose of committing a crime, I'm unsure whether anything could actually prevent them from doing so. So it'll be very interesting to hear the public's submission on this bill, and I look forward to the discussions that the committee will actually have on these issues, and I'll look forward to the advice we will actually get on that particular aspect of the bill, sir. In the future, once the regime is actually fully implemented, the businesses will be able to update their details in one place. And that has to be a good thing, to automatically update others without businesses having to do a thing to go through a complicated and time-consuming process, as I had earlier alluded to. This means less time and effort on government administration and more time for business owners to focus their efforts on productivity, growth, and exporting their goods. And you know, having actually been to Korea to sign an FTA deal, I think anybody who can grow their business, grow New Zealand, is doing a great job, and we should reduce the workload that they have in admin. Sir, this is a great bill. I commend it to the House.
I call Claire Curran.